I happened across a video where someone is accusing someone else of harassment. It's actually quite serious. And the reason I'm doing this video is in response to in a sense, in the fact that people do jump on bandwagons without knowing exact facts. Now, I want to start off by saying I actually believe what the person's saying. So in no way is this any sort of form of criticism. It's more the people who they comment and support. It's like, my opinion that they're telling the truth is just merely that. It's an opinion. Is it based on deep facts? No. It's how they present themselves, how they share their story. You innately believe one side over another in any sort of situation. But I think to say to you 100%, no, it's true. No, I don't. Because I wasn't there and there's not enough evidence at the moment, like, from what I've seen, to support a claim to say that's 100% happened. And that's the reality. You know, you see it far too often where people's names get ruined, their whole reputation, because people go on a witch hunt. Now, I'm not saying this, like I said, I think they're telling the truth, but not enough at this point to ruin someone's career or something. And too many people are always looking. I say it all the time. I hate the cancel culture in general. There's always people trying to ruin people. And again, I'm not saying this for them personally, but the people in the comments. Because some people, the reason I'm doing the video is I found it quite scary when I read the comments. There was a couple of commenters that mentioned that I didn't even need to hear the other person's side of the story. Like it didn't even cross my mind to hear it. And I just thought, what? How on earth can you base like logic on one version of events without hearing the whole story? Like to have that amount of trust in that it's true. That's crazy to me. That's not how judgments are made. That's naive, but it also has huge repercussions. What people really, really need to realize is there is a law in place. And if you make false allegations against people, especially publicly, that is slander. It's defamation of character. That's actually quite serious. So when you form an opinion, you better make it clear that it's just your opinion. If you're going to state it, if you're stating it as fact, it becomes a problem. So when people do start harassing people and they try to slander them, it's like, you better be confident you're telling the truth. Now, I'm not saying the content creator isn't prepared to go that far, because clearly they are. But I think anyone who goes from hearing something to sort of accusing someone, that's not for them to do that. That's not for them to do that at all. There's a whole process that should take place. Again, I think people are too quick to judgment, especially when they haven't heard all sides to the story. I've shared my story with my books. For instance, I've gone through family court. I've been accused of emotional abuse myself and been through things. And yeah, I do get a lot of support with that. Like, I was surprised, because I naturally thought as a guy that I'll be the one that gets heavily attacked for it. But I took, you know, you could say it's a risk, but I just tell my story. I just tell the story. You know, it's exactly how it is. I tell the truth. But I tell the truth, but people shouldn't take anything as gospel without knowing the whole facts. Like, I don't reveal the other party's names and things. I keep their identity hidden, because it's important that I respect their privacy and all those things. But ultimately, it's like, really, if they chose to tell their version of events, then by all means, you tell your version of event. Let people hear my version of event, and then they can decide for themselves. But either way, it's not. I mean, I have a load of evidence, so I could back it up like that, but I'm not going to go that far to do that, because I don't have to convince anyone of anything, you know. So the reality is, people can form an opinion, but it's not judgment. You can only form an opinion when you're not involved, unless you got literally so much evidence to back it up and it actually makes sense. But again, you know, I just find it really scary that people make very serious judgments on people when there's not been proven. That's what I'm getting at. So I'm not saying this person's lying, because I've already said at the beginning there, I think she's telling the truth. But that's just what I think. I'm not 100% that she's telling that it's all true, is it? Because I wasn't there, and there hasn't been enough evidence or any evidence to suggest that it's exact. Now, you can't always have evidence, and that's the thing. So sometimes we do have to have our own discernment, you know, because not everybody's walking around with a video recording everything. So we make decisions based on that. But again, I think when you're tarnishing someone's reputation, you just got to be very careful with that, because it has serious consequences. And the problem with people in general, a lot of people, they don't have any accountability. They're more than happy to ruin someone's life and consider it justified, even if they get it wrong. And that's dangerous, because what it is they often fail to put themselves in someone else's position. They don't think far ahead like that. And a lot of the time, it is a bit of a sexist thing, in terms of the fact that, like, there's an awful lot of women that would just side with women no matter what. It's just men are horrible, and that happens because they're just basing it on their own experiences, and then they're venting that out, and they're tainting everybody with the same brush. And it's ridiculous, because not all men are the same and not all women are the same. And I think when you start assuming they are, I think it's dangerous. And if your experience is that is the same, then it's like, well, where have you put, if you put yourself in the same situation repeatedly, you're going to get a very similar result. So where, like, if, for instance, if you meet these men who are toxic, for instance, where are you meeting them? And then you meet them in the same places doing the same things. It's like hardly surprising you're going to get similar results. I'm not saying it's justified, but the reality is, if you only meet in a subsection of men, and then you're tainting them as all the same when you haven't even met different sectors of people, that's just ridiculous. I see it all the time where they say all men cheat. It's like, I don't cheat. I don't have to prove anything, but I have no interest in any of that. I have different morals. Now, you hear enough, you watch my videos, you read my books, I mean, you'll get an impression of me, but it's just an impression. But again, I'm not interested in convincing anyone of who I am. When I'm in a relationship, it's just between me and that person. So all that matters is, do I trust them and do they trust me? Couldn't give a shit what anyone else thinks. So even if everyone still taints you with the same brush they taint everyone else with, it's like, no, that's not my business. If you're insecure and you're going to project, you spend your life doing that. But at the same time, like, guys can do that to women. But what's the point? I don't understand the point of that. You know, there's plenty of women that cheat just like men do. But there's also an incredible amount of women that are loyal to a fault, because sometimes they keep themselves in places they shouldn't, just through obligation. And again, so it's the same thing. There's men that do that too. I think to just keep this stereotyping is what's dangerous. And like I said, if you go around saying this is absolute fact, that's dangerous. And that's what concerned me when I saw the content, because I just thought, I'm watching all of her video. It's nearly 10 minutes long. And, you know, I went to check the person's profile out, and straight away I just thought, yeah, I think she's telling the truth. But, you know, not enough for me to start attacking the guy. So I reposted it because I think it should have attention on it. I think people should hear the story. Because even if let's say it's not true. Let's say that's not true. I think that's dangerous targeting him then, because he can get her done for slander, for starters. That's the bare minimum. Like, they can do an awful lot, because it's affecting his business. It's affecting his image. So he may lose an awful lot on the back of that. And then that means there's a financial implication, which she is then liable for, if she's lying, of course. But let's say it is an exaggeration. I think you could tell the story without tagging the person in it, and then it would have been, these sort of things happen, so it's just an account, you know. But because he's been tagged now, it's serious. But then she obviously felt confident enough to tag the guy. So that's sort of like what leans it that way. But again, you can't be 100% sure. So anyway, let's just share it a little bit, just so we can get some right answers. I'm not going to show the video, because I'm going to tag where I can, so people can go and watch it themselves, because it ain't for me to broadcast someone else's content. Like, I don't try to do all of it when it's like that. So this is the video, my traumatizing experience with a famous street photographer. And then you go and check the profile out. So I can do that because it's what it is. And he's got 1.5 million followers. I don't know why it's not showing the image. Let me just... See, I'm not siding here. So this isn't me like ruining someone's... I'm just following the trail. So yeah, he's got 1.5 million followers. She said it happened in Milan. She's got 150,000 followers. So both got substantial followings. But I don't know if she's gained a lot of those followers off the back of his videos. I haven't seen her content before, so I'm not sure. There's no way of knowing at this point. For me personally, I wouldn't. How would I know? But no. So anyway, that's where we're up to now. If we go on a video, you get an impression of people, and again, that's at this stage, that's all it is, an impression of people. I was listening, and the deeper it got, I felt I could feel the anxiety. But then people can be actresses and actors, you know. So you can't be totally swayed by people's emotions and things. You've got to be a bit calculated, really, in your assessment. And in the end, it's a case of, again, it's up to the law to take care of some things rather than people keep being vigilantes, because that's dangerous. Like, there's real serious implications when people do this. I hate it when I see people target people without knowing all the facts. It's quick to judgment, and that's dangerous because that could happen to anyone.
Traumatic experience with a famous TikTok and Instagram street photographer last summer, and I'm going to share the story. So last summer I was in Milan and I had a street photographer come up to me and ask to take some photos. His name
I'm going to rough it up a little bit, just summarize a little bit. And then you can watch the video yourself if you want to. So effectively, she had a street photographer. He was kind. He was polite. In response to this video, he's actually done a little, I don't know what you call it, a story. So it only stays there for 24 hours. And within that story, because I just saw it as well briefly, and he shared a clip where she's put in the she's like sent him a private message, I think, or a comment, and just said, what a wonderful experience. And that's his evidence to support him. Now, the reality is what she's pointing towards is the fact that after the session, he was harassing her, really. He was following her. So he would never leave. Like, apparently he said, no, I'm coming home with you tonight. And she said, no, you're not. And apparently in the street, she was like for 40 minutes trying to get him to leave, and he wouldn't. In the end, she had to get herself an Uber, try and get herself out of there, and said, you're going your way. I'm getting my Uber. And apparently when she got in the Uber, because he started walking off slightly, when she got in the Uber, he opened the other door and got in. And apparently she was crying in the car. The driver did nothing about it. The driver took her to her location where she's staying vulnerably alone. Apparently there's an iron gate she has to open, and she knew if she opens it, she's in trouble. And apparently there was a bit of a tussle there, but she managed to slam the gate on him. And then he had these, I can't remember how she expressed his eyes, but it didn't look like there was much going on there. Like, it was just evil. And that's pretty much what's been said. And she's vulnerable in that position. And it's kind of like, you hear it, the story, and the way she shared it. And to be honest, it makes sense. When you've got nothing to gain, I guess, from forming a judgment, it is just an opinion, though, isn't it? So like, I listened to it and I believed her. Then I saw his response, and his response was really, if you look at it, let's say she sent the comment, she could have just said, she may have sent that comment after he did the photos, before all this happened, expecting it just to be thank you for this, it's like a professional session or whatever it was. And then the guy's gone further than that. So his evidence isn't really supporting anything, in my opinion, because it's just validating a moment before that happened. But again, that's just from an observation, But again, it's the comments. And if we just go over, wait a minute, I've got to try and figure this out a little bit. So anyway, I can't click it now because I've already clicked it. I don't think they do stories on here. But it'd be interesting if any of these other women have had an issue, because that's when it starts happening, isn't it? When you've got more and more people can confirm similar experiences. So where was the response video? Was it that one? Yeah, this is it. So it was the comments that worried me a little bit. Like, she seemed genuine, because she's literally just saying that she's going to donate any money she makes from videos this month, because there's slight accusations that maybe she's doing it for clout, for money. And like, she's made the point, why would I want to be known for this? It's not something I'd want to be known for. And any money I make, I'm just going to donate. So we're going to get everybody to decide where to donate this month's income. And I thought, okay, that's interesting. Of course, some people say that and they don't. But again, she gives off a bit. To me, she seems genuine. But it was like I said, it was the comments that sort of worried me a little bit once we went there, because I thought, that's heavy to just say 100% that this is what you think, because we haven't got enough information to say that. So someone's put, he's this piece of shit, cancel him. And then someone's put, obviously, we believe you. And then someone's put, who's we? Any sane person. Yeah, so, okay, I didn't see this bit, but that makes sense. No sane person believes a stranger with no evidence. Exactly. We can form an opinion, but you can't form a judgment. A final judgment, you can't. That just negates, if you did that in the court of law, for instance, that just negates the whole finding of evidence. And even, that's literally just going to just, effectively, you're cutting out the jury, you're cutting out the entire process of questioning, cross-examination, people having a fair trial, and it's just literally cutting that out and just saying, we're hanging you. That's what people are doing at the moment. And that's like back in the medieval times here, This is crazy. People taking like things into their own hands. It's like you've got to have more intelligence than that. That's far too impulsive. We believe you. It's fake. Why is he limiting his comments? Well, again, I'm not trying to defend anyone, but it's just logical. He's got a business. He's got 1.5 million followers. Obviously his income is determined upon that. Last thing he wants is to, let's say he's not. Let's say you have to have assumptions. Let's say the assumption is that he hasn't done anything wrong, and he's having these false allegations made against him, and maybe he's got lawyers involved, and he's decided I'm going to pursue this. If he's not done anything wrong, if he's innocent, let's say that's going on in the background. Well, he's not going to want his business ruined by loads of people just going mental on his comment section just because something's been said and accused. Because that's what people do. They're like sharks. It's the piranha fish. It's crazy. You know, sometimes you've got to let things play out a little bit to figure out the facts. And that's what intelligent people do. Thick people, very dumb people, are impulsive. And they lack logic. And they just go based on feelings. They allow their emotions to control them. And they're going to get themselves, if let's say it's a false allegation, these people can get held accountable. They can. And it's like, I think one day there will be a precedent for it. I think one day there's going to be a whole comment field of people getting taken to court. I think so. I think because you can't be that reckless with other people's reputations. It's like you have to be accountable. You can't just go around causing absolute havoc and expect you to get a free pass. So now, if he's at fault, and let's say he has done those things, then of course, over time it'll play out because there'll be more stories. Anyway, so that's what I'm saying. I'm saying I believe her, but what I'm saying is I'm not going to judgment because that's an extra step. We can believe someone, but then you can only go so far with it. In the same way, people hear my story, for instance, my books, you can believe me, but I wouldn't go as far as to say you should then go and like harass if my ex was walking and people knew who it was. I wouldn't feel comfortable with that because it's got nothing to do with anyone else. That's between me and them. I've just shared the story to help open people's eyes to what goes on in the world, really, and bring about change so people are not victims in the future, you know? So that's really what it's about. It's not about targeting the person. I don't want their life ruined. So I've concealed their identities. But if it ever got out in the future, it's not for people to take anything into their own hands. It's my personal situation. It's got nothing to do with anyone else on a personal level. It's literally nothing to do with anyone else. I've only shared it to raise awareness of a situation. That's it. So it's not for these people to become like officers of the peace or something. You know, it's just unreal. And that's where people are delusional. They all think they're all martyrs. It's crazy to me. It's like, you've got to let a process play out. I believe women because I've been there. And I said this at the very beginning. This is what I'm saying. The stereotypes kicks in. I can understand if you've been a victim of something. Like, I've been a victim of something. I've been falsely accused of emotional abuse. Do I then think every single woman, it will go as low as do that? I think many have the capacity to do it. I don't think they would all do it. So it doesn't make, I don't label everybody with the same brush. And again, like I said, if it's happened numerous times in a situation, then you've got to look at who you're associating with and your habits and behaviors and things. Like if it always happens late at night, then maybe don't spend your time going out late at night. Like I know you could say, well, that's not fair. It's like, well, if your safety matters, then you put yourself in safe places, surely. Anyway. That's not justifying anything, by the way. It's just literally, if your safety matters you that much, then be safe. It's like I don't go around dodgy areas and I don't mess around late at night. You know, I have an awareness the world is dangerous. You know, I don't need to put myself in places where something could happen and then go mental when something happens. That's what I'm saying. Again, it's got nothing to do with her story. I'm saying in general, because I think there's a lack of accountability on so many areas in freaking life. It drives me nuts. If it's a fake story, why does he have a side to listen to? What does that mean? If it's a fake story, why does he have a side to listen to? I don't understand what she's saying, but I think some people just, they're so stupid, they think they're smart. I think she's assuming that she's never met him. The other guy's not saying he's never met her. He's saying that they had a good interaction. She left a nice review, like a comment or a message. So he would have a side in that, wouldn't he? Because his argument would be it was a brief encounter, it went well. So I don't understand what she's trying to say. But again, I think some people are just dense without being rude. For crying out loud, you can't scroll anything on this. Does my head in, TikTok. I actually don't like TikTok. I hate it so much. It's really badly optimized. Oh, now I've lost it. He's limited his comments. How innocent does that sound? I've just said he's protecting his business, so I don't understand exactly this telling on himself. These people are thick. Not to play devil's advocate, but it may be an... I don't think that word even exists. The truth, meaning that she added bits or left out some stuff, but in this case, I do believe her. Just saying a fake story doesn't just have to be one you pick out of thin air. It could just take some things out of proportion. Exactly. I think too many people seek to validate all the time, and it just gets crazy. Yeah, people are just so quick to it, and that's what I'm saying. It's dangerous because you do it to the wrong person. They may take their own life, or people could take their life, or it's serious things, repercussions has happened, all because of a badly informed decision. And that's what I'm getting at. It's like sometimes things are irreversible. It's a bit like capital punishment. If people believe in that as a fair response, like I don't personally think that's fair, because there'll be plenty of people who are innocent end up losing their life, and all because there was corruption. And I think that's very dangerous. So there's no reversing that. And there's no reversing this when you go on a witch hunt. So anyway, what have we got here? He replied again, I believe you, but I'd love to hear your reply to his. He posted on his story that the original video when you met was on the 18th, and you commented 2 days later saying you had a great time. See, that's interesting. If that's true, then that makes no sense to her claims. And I think that's valid. If true, that's what we're saying, isn't it? This is discovering. See, most people, of course, that's how someone commenting saying that. You'd have to investigate yourself. But most of these people that comment, they hear a story and they just go mental. They don't even go and dig through evidence. It's easy to edit the date and time if you're taking photos from the photo gallery. Just tested it out myself. 3 dots at the top. He didn't Photoshop her comment in. He edited the original video date to make it seem like she's lying with her comment. Well, that's interesting. Again, rebuttal. This is what I'm talking about, though. This is what it's all about. The she's just looking for money and clout that is designed to activate all the misogynistics. Wow, they just spell it wrong. Who would never believe a woman? Those aren't good people anyway. See, I don't think it's all about not believing a woman. It's not anything to do with that. It doesn't matter what side it is in gender. It's just don't be quick to judgment is what I'm saying. You can form an opinion, but don't be quick to judgment. Judgment is a final decision. That's very dangerous to reach that conclusion after one conversation or one speech. That's very dangerous. Babe, half of his videos are literally evidence of women being hesitant to listen to him and him being persuasive. Don't even worry. See, I haven't seen his videos, so maybe we'd get that there. This, oh my God, is so rude and demanding. All you have to do is look at his videos approaching women and it's clear you're telling the truth. My only issue is he could sue you for defamation since you don't have proof. I hope he doesn't. I 100% believe it. What have I just said? He won't. He can't risk other victims also coming out. He would want this to go away and die down. Again, that's only on the assumption that he's done something wrong. Again, it's a lot of assumptions people make. Oh, for God's sake, I told you I can't stand TikTok. It's crap. Can't do anything on here without getting mental. I think people just need to investigate themselves. Don't need me to read it all out. Again, this isn't me saying I don't believe it, because I've already mentioned that how many times that I think she's telling the truth, but that's thinking. I don't know. And I think we'll leave it there for people to make decisions themselves. Yeah, I'll tag the videos per se. I'm not going to tag the people because I don't think it's nice to target people. You have to dig yourself. So I'll just tag the videos, and then there's links in the videos to respected parties that is not me linking directly, So I'm just going to tag the videos as credits like I normally do. I normally say if I've used someone's video, I'll put video credits. I'll link the video and you can click through there. Again, people can take anything out of context. You could take the fact that I am openly skeptical to a degree, a very small degree, but enough that I haven't formed a final judgment. You could take that as I'm siding with a guilty party because that's what some people want to do, and it's not the case at all. I'm just realistic. As simple as that. You can't go quick to judgment. It's just that's very naive and what I consider dangerous, and it's legally immoral. You can find yourself in serious repercussions with things like that. So effectively, when you've got something to say, you better be confident when you're saying it. That's all I'm saying. So in something like that, it's dangerous to form judgment. And it's not for us to really judge in the first place, really, is it? We can form an opinion, but it's not for us to judge. It's for others to come to that conclusion, really. But yeah, you can form an opinion, of course, and you can stay away from someone if you don't trust them. So if you don't like someone or don't trust them, then of course it's up to you, isn't it? You don't have to spend time with someone. You don't have to invest in them, and you can just block and stay away. That's an option. That's an option we all have, but that's more like self-empowerment, freedom of choice and things. But we don't have, or we shouldn't really have the ability to just completely annihilate and ruin someone's career and their life based on something being said. I saw something recently, actually. I don't know if I've clicked it. I'd maybe able to get that up. There was so as he falls in line with the same thing, there was an actor. I don't know if I liked it. I don't suppose I did. I reposted it. Well, I thought I reposted it. There was a guy, and he was talking about the fact that an actor or someone famous in the UK had abused him, and I haven't got it available, unfortunately. And it was a similar thing. It was a guy saying another guy who's, like I said, famous in the UK had abused him, and he was very eloquent in the way he explained this situation. But unfortunately, it looks like I didn't repost, save, for like, or anything. I think I don't get involved in everything. Like, for instance, I heard it and I thought that could be true, but then it could also be not true. And I'm not going to go deep into reposting everything. If I think this, it could go either way. It's not for me to get involved in, because effectively when you repost, you're endorsing to a degree, aren't you? Yeah, I haven't got a copy of that, actually. On your phone, you'd be able to get it up and just say, like, what's the recent activity? But then even then, it's not that easy to find. Yeah, I don't have a copy of that, unfortunately. Oh, that's a shame, because that'd been another side. But again, I'm just trying to raise awareness, really. It's like, don't go harassing people if you don't have all the evidence, because that's reckless.